Sorbet is fat-free and dairy-free, and yet it's creamy and delicious. Sorbet is generally more popular in Europe than in America, where we tend to prefer ice cream, but it is catching on in the US as well. I'm going to make grape sorbet. It's delicious and refreshing. The first step is to put the grapes in the blender. I'm using red seedless grapes, but when they're in season in the fall, Concord grapes would be delicious too. We'll add those to the blender. Next, I'm going to add some agave nectar to sweeten it, but you could also use honey. There's no need to add any water to the blender. Grapes are a very watery fruit, so you just don't need any. Now I'm going to go ahead and process. You don't want to over-process this mixture. I'm just breaking up the grapes a little bit. Now the next step is to put it into a food mill. What a food mill does is it's going to strain out the skins and some of the pulp from the grapes. And it's more effective than a fine mesh strainer because it creates a medium-bodied puree. It's not going to be as liquid as something like grape juice. There'll still be some of the pulp in there, so it'll be a nice medium-bodied grape puree. We'll go ahead and pour this into the food mill. And now I just turn the handle and the grape puree is going to fall through the holes into the bowl underneath. Now I'm just left with the grape skins in the food mill and all the grape puree is underneath in the bowl. Now we're ready to put the grape mixture into an ice cream maker. Modern ice cream makers have come a long way. They're really inexpensive and easy to use. There's no ice or hand cranking or rock salt required. My favorite ice cream maker is the Cuisinart brand. It comes with a canister that has a freezing agent inside, and you just need to put this canister in the freezer for 8 to 12 hours before you make ice cream or sorbet. I just permanently store mine in the freezer. You can also purchase an extra one of these bowls if you want to make more than one flavor of ice cream or sorbet in a row. So we'll go ahead and pour in the grape puree. Now I'm just going to turn on the ice cream maker, and in 20 minutes I'll have finished sorbet. Now the sorbet is done. It's stopped moving around, so we know that it's done. It's nice and firm. And I'll just take it off of this with a spatula. This sorbet will keep for 5 days in the freezer. I really like it best fresh, but it will keep for 5 days. You just need to thaw it for a few minutes before serving. So let's try some. I'm going to put a few sliced strawberries on top and a few halved grapes. This is going to be so delicious and refreshing. Every time I eat sorbet, I'm reminded that a treat can be light and refreshing and still feel like a very satisfying indulgence. And if you're like me, once you start making sorbet, you'll wonder why you didn't discover this delightful dessert a long time ago.